Hello, and welcome to the DM's Book Club, our weekly podcast where we look at some Dungeons and Dragons and how we can fit it into our role-playing campaigns.
Ooh, boo, boo, boo.
Is that right?
That's pretty right. That's pretty right. Yeah.
With me and the voice in the other side of your ear holes is Fiona.
Hello, I'm in your ear holes. Yes.
Exactly. Weird one. But I couldn't help it. Fiona is always here, ever present, ever dangerous.
I'm always at the back of your mind, yes. And obviously with me is my wonderful co-host, Hamilton. Hello. The other voice in your head. We voice your innermost thoughts. I hope that's okay for this year.
Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. Just related to TTRPGs.
Oh, yes, only fine. That. Hamilton, how have you been, my friend? I know it's been, again, as every time I see you, I'm like, it's been a long time since we recorded, but we did see each other in person fairly recently.
We have twice in 1 week, which is so strange. But yes, we were at Dragon Meet, which was really fun. I really enjoyed it. We got to meet some lovely people. There were two people that came up to me who listened to the show, which was kind of like...
How exciting.
One of them was like, I was with Chloe at the Parallel Games table, and I was wearing the merch, wearing the DM's Book Club t-shirt, which you can't buy, but
it's just our merch.
Our merch that we wear. And so I went, wait, are you from the DM's Book Club? And I was like, yeah, I'm Hamilton. He goes, oh my gosh, I listened to your show. It's really good. And I was like, thank you. And they were like, I'm really embarrassed. I'm going to leave now. I was like, that's fine. You know, you can go.
We're all awkward British people at the best of times. It's very, you have to do the knee slap, and then leave. That's how I leave any awkward situation nowadays.
Well, God damn it. I better get going. Slap my knee.
Well, this interaction has been awkward, but I've appreciated it nonetheless. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't actually that awkward. They were very nice. So it was fine. But it was lovely to see people and hear people and also met some new people, sold lots of people on the fact that we talk about Planescape. There's a lot of love out there.
I know.
For Planescape,
you're on it constantly. Like you gotta.
Do you like Planescape?
Yes. Hey, do you like these books?
We've done all of it, pretty much. We've travelled the realms. We've seen sights that no one should have seen. So there was Dragon Meet, and then otherwise it's been book for me really at the moment. We're getting to the end goal. You know, things are happening. Test print's coming out. I've got the weapon.
Ooh.
The weapon, which is the singular novel version of the book. It looks
pretty fucking great. Yeah, your Wraithborn, like, full-on thing. But as you told me, he was like, the printers were like, we need to have a chat about this. Oh, wow.
We need to have a chat about this, Hamilton. The binding is going to break. And also, I've been looking through it, and it's, like, impossible to read, because you have to, like, completely break the book to read, in the middle of it, because it's so big, that I just think it's not a comfortable tome. So I've already got the first of the splits.
Oh, that looks so nice. Like, it's a nice soft cover there for the Tortured Isles.
A nice little soft cover for like the Guide to the Realms, and there'll be a hardcover version of the core rulebook. So the small hardcover hasn't turned up yet, but it's coming.
It's Christmas, so that's exciting. You know how it is. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so it's been really, those have been my two focuses on top of like family, really. So
I know. As I always say, Christmas time, December and early January is always a void. You're not really doing anything, but you are kind of needing to be present, because usually it's like, we all have to be together, and like in a nice way, but it is kind of like, what are you up to? You're like, family, and we all go, yes. as if like, that's your calendar booked. No. Well, I'm the same. Obviously, came back from Dragon Meet, and I'm just basically trying to get through as much like editing and content before the holidays, before I come back over to the UK for Christmas with my partner, and it'll be lovely, like good 2 weeks, whatever, but I can't edit. There's no, it's like, you'd be like, what are you doing? Come and sit with us as we watch TV. And you're like, yep. And it's also a nice thing as well, don't worry. I'm not going to be like, I should be editing. But it's just like, I'm very aware that suddenly all my time where I can just like, go and say, it's more acceptable to go and read a book than it is to be on your computer. So I'm aware of that.
That's the thing. You can't, exactly. So it's a good time for catching up on the reading that's necessary. As you said, you've got to be present. You've got to do the things you need to do. You've got to listen to the awkward conversations. You've got to
Christmas walks, food
maybe
prep.
Go for walks when those Christmas conversations get too heavy. Time to leave.
Well, what I am looking forward to is that where my parents live, there is lots of micro breweries and those sort of like local bars.
Oh yeah.
Again, I think just after the pandemic or just before, suddenly there was like a pop up of such things. So me and my partner, we often try and do like a little bar crawl, and we've done it a couple of times now, and we've got our favourites, because there's so much you're like, this is just your standard, like, there's not like local beers. We're very, with those people that we go, oh, is it locally brewed? Because it's like, we won't get this anywhere else. And also it's a little bit cheaper than where we are in the US. So we've got our favourite one. It's called the Buffer Stops, which is the train station. We've got like a tiny train station where, and it just serves like the local area. They have one in the old waiting room and ticket office, and it's great vibes, nice. And always got some good range of stouts. So that's my goal, is to go have a
perfect winter fare. Good old stout.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
All right, well, Hamilton, what are we talking about today? What is our topic of choice for the end of 2025?
Oh, it's a sort of year in review / a look ahead to what could be for next year. It's a classic we've done a couple of years in a row now, I guess. We've done it pretty much every year. It's been an interesting one for us, I feel. I feel like there's a kind of overarching theme of sort of distancing from D&D in some respects a little bit. I don't think we've been as like hot off the press as we used to be, I think, this year, definitely. I think there's been a lot more with the launch of Gian's book club and stuff like that. It's been a slightly different year. So I think, it's going to look a little bit different to last year. I think where we were so much more het up on like the D&D. I don't even think we looked at if there was even like a D&D show reveal. They used to do those sort of October
a D&D Direct and showcase and stuff. And I think because again, we're still in. I always think we're still in the 50th year of D&D. It's that celebration stuff. So I think they're still rolling out. I mean, they've only just finished rolling out with the Forgotten Realms booklets, which got announced. So then it's like, well, we don't know what the next year's having. So to be fair, what I did this year as one of my, let's make a tally of it. I did a play report. I basically, as much as I could, noted down like every time I did an actual play session of some sort. So whether I was a GM, a player, a producer, I included session zeros and talkbacks as well.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
I will say it's not complete, because I did think this morning, I was like, I did some like solo stuff, which I didn't really categorize because I didn't put it in my diary. That's what I was going off. I was like, what in my diary has this? So I want you to guess roughly how many sessions I did of an actual, containing all those things. So, like, a part of an actual play. How many sessions do you think I did in 2025?
Well, there's 52 weeks in a year. I probably assume you've done probably at least 1 week. Even if you've done maybe 2 a week some weeks and missed a week here and there. I bet you've done probably about 50. Seem about right?
50 events.
Yeah.
Higher.
No. 70?
Higher.
No. 100?
Higher.
200?
No. I did roughly 135 sessions worth of actual play.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my giddy aunt. That is incredible. That is incredible.
This includes 43 unique game titles, over 30 publishers.
Gosh.
For 16 different shows, including off-recording, off things.
Yeah.
Not including stuff we've done for Dean's Book Club. Like, I included in, the Wraithborn stuff we did. Yeah. I've included that, for example, but I didn't include anything like interviews or anything like that. That's a whole separate other category. But yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Jesus, 135.
Now, obviously, like I said, some of these are sessions where I was producing, so I wasn't playing or running anything. So it was very interesting because I knew, like, basically my busiest time was in May, where I did, let me count, 12 different titles in May.
Wow.
It was a very busy month. And a lot of this stuff is one-shots as well, or one-off things. Yeah. But it was very interesting to go through it. And the end of this year has been a lot quieter. I think what happened was I got busy editing Last Line Rewind, and I was like, I cannot keep this going.
You did the production mode, and now you're in the actual post-production mode of, like,
absolutely
getting everything sorted.
I can tell you, top two are ones I was producing. So the top one was The Between, I produced for our friend The Bad Spot, and followed by Public Access, which is another one. Then, interestingly, the game I played the most of, I think, was Kids on Bikes. I got 10 sessions of Kids on Bikes because we had RP Geeks did their thing, and that included Session Zero and stuff. And I also did it over on Deck of Many Aces as well. Then followed by Blades in the Dark, did 8 sessions of Blades in the Dark. So that's the one I actually ran. And then Call of Cthulhu, several different kinds of Call of Cthulhu where I played and GM'd. Then finally followed by Dungeons and Dragons with 7 sessions.
Wow.
So Dungeons and Dragons didn't even make top 5 of like the most I ever did. So there you go. Wow. And everything else is then like 6 episodes of Candle Obscura. That's obviously like 5 episodes and a talk and a
session everything's probably in that range, I guess, once you get to that point, really.
Everything then goes between sort of like 5 to 1, and most majority of them, always when you think about it, 1 will be a Session Zero as well. So it's not necessarily full on character, but
I think they still count as the
reason I counted them is it's a session and it's me thinking about the rules. And again, this doesn't necessarily capture, if I was running the game, the amount of time I'd be like, okay, this is an afternoon where I'm just prepping or stuff like that. So on that as well. So any thoughts?
Any thoughts on that? I don't know. I think it's more questions I have, I guess. Like, so you've spent more time in them, but maybe I don't know. Which ones stayed with you the most?
Very, very good question. So yeah, I will automatically take the Between and Public Access out because that's just me producing. So I enjoyed producing them, but obviously I wasn't playing them. So those top ones are out. I would say, looking at them, because a lot of them were for RP Geeks as well, I enjoyed the Kids on Bikes RP Geeks one, but even then that wasn't truly Kids on Bikes. There was a little bit of a homebrew thing as well. And I also included like homebrew settings as well, mechanics as well. I'll tell you the one I really enjoyed the most, and I'm sure he'd be pleased about it. I really enjoyed being on Side Character Quest with Ty, he's got his own Forged in the Dark system, which is a one-on-one one. That was really fun. That was at the beginning of the year, and nice. I really remember playing in that, and because it was at the time I was running Blades in the Dark, or around about the same time, and my issues with running it with players who maybe struggle to understand, like, just do big choices, don't worry about it, compared to then someone who does run that and having it just one-on-one was really satisfying. And also those sessions were short. They were like 2 hours, presumably because Ty was like, cool, you've done a lot of stuff, I need to go away and think about the consequences, so the other one, which I think will be an interesting one to see in the new year, I know we're slipping into like things to look forward to the new year. There's one, I did a couple of play tests for a game called Cosmic Century Nights, which is a game by James D'Amato. And I think the setting of it's really cool. The idea is like,
cool.
In this fantasy world, suddenly from the sky, a huge big sword comes and cuts through into the earth like an apple. Like it just goes through like that. And then from this big sword, 100 other swords appear and like go around. And it's almost like keyblades, like they find their owners, and you develop not only your character but also the sword that comes with it, and then you put these adventures together, and so you can play any number of these characters. And I just thought that was a really cool like concept, that there's only these 100 swords and you have to go find these other knights and whatnot. The system, I'm still not 100% sure what it was. There was a lot of like rolling for impact and consequence, and like you could roll like I roll a D8 and I will get a D8 consequence, or a D8 and a D10 consequence, or it was just that sort of thing where it's like dice values. The more value you have on one, the less you would have on the other. I never understood what it was about, but yeah, it was that would I say that those two, Cosmic Century Nights and Ty's Side Character Quest, were the ones that stood out to me as like. Great. I found those really interesting. Everything else, like I either ran or played, and like I found bits of them were interesting. Candela Obscura was one that we talked about at Dragon Meets a lot. Everyone's obsessed with Candela Obscura. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like I like the setting is interesting in parts.
Sort of Victorian clockwork stuff, right?
It's basically a little bit like Penny Dreadfuls, but watered down. And there's like, I appreciate this is like me, the horror queen, reading something. It's like comparing Dracula to Twilight. That's how I feel it. Like
Nosferatu
to anything. Yeah, absolutely. To Monster High. Yeah, exactly. That's how.
Demon Slayer versus K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't.
Maybe not even enough. That's probably not.
No, but it's very hard to compare. And I was just a bit like, because everyone. I remember when we ran it, for Last Light Rewind. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, what a great system!" And in my head, I was like, "No,
don't agree with this.
Don't agree with this." Like, and because we made a really good story. I think that's the thing. What I discovered last year, if the setting didn't work, not the setting. If I wasn't really infused by the game mechanics, I was really focused on like making sure that we had a good story. And then if someone was like, "Oh, I want to try and do this," I was like, "Cool. Let's try and do that." And I'm not going to worry too much about game mechanics, especially depending on the show as well. Obviously, one of my run is always about the game mechanics.
No, that's interesting, and I think it's interesting that they're not quite the ones you've chosen are actually quite esoteric. But it's funny, isn't it? It shows how like important. Well, not surprisingly, but it's like how much I still think like the setting can make a big difference, even if the mechanics aren't as up to scratch. Sometimes I feel like it sounds like that Celestial Knights one sounds just so
Cosmic
cool
Century Knights, also, the other one to mention here is Orbital Refuse, obviously our Blackwater Bastards one, which again I'm still not 100% on the majority of rules, but I also don't think they are.
I don't think it matters.
But it didn't matter because we had such a good time as well. So I remember that, and that was more because I got to play with my friends. I didn't think about, oh, this system I must use. I just like, oh, that was such a good shout on that front.
What do you think was the one that gave like a mechanic that you're like, oh, that was cool. This is something I'd like to take elsewhere, or not even if you don't want to take it elsewhere, just was like really made it something special. I think is always interesting. Like for me, my finding the clock in Blades in the Dark last year was kind of like a cool little thing, which I still haven't implemented in my games, but it's one of those things where I'm like, that's such a cool little mechanic, keeping that locked away for later sort of thing. Wonder if there's anything like that.
I only played like one session of it, but City of Winter, which is on everyone's list just now. I played one session of it, and it's like a storytelling game. It's the one with a scroll, essentially, and it's about you are a group of people.
I saw. Was it Emily who bought? No, it was
Liz.
Liz bought it. Liz bought it. Yes. I was at the table and I was like, someone was showing me. It looked amazing.
Yeah, this is basically a scroll. It's like an ongoing story about a family that's moving, and the idea is that each place you gain traditions and then you leave traditions behind.
Such a cool idea.
It's I think because then you're talking about these stories and like you're using these card prompts to be like, what is it? What do you keep as a child? That's something that you pull on through, and it's again way to be a little bit sad in places as well. Yeah. And we only played it online, but it was really fun. And like again, I would say that if you're into more like stats and like crunchiness, maybe it's not the game for you. But I just genuinely thought it was a really interesting one. And of course, the physical copy is gorgeous.
Oh, it was such a great like box that you get. I was gorgeous. Like, that's so cool. And I was thinking like, I was trying to think of what Oregon Trail. It's like
very much
it's like
so.
Oregon Trail, but like mixed with so much more weight and like artistic and TTRPG'd up really. But this idea of like pilgrimage and also sort of like emigration, sort of like this idea of like constant on the move and nomadic lifestyle that's sort of and how traditions are passed on, and is really such a great idea.
And coming of age and growing up through these things and how
you respond to those things.
Exactly, and these factors of it as well. On a similar note, I can see here I've got a few like world building ones as well. So like A Land Wants Magic, we played on stream, and that was a really cool talking through one. It wasn't necessarily like characters or anything like that. That was a real again, some really good tables in that one, I will say. And then Under the Autumn Strangely, which I have played previously, where you are, it's like the protagonist, the setting itself, and then the horror, which we did for one shot. And I really like that basically it's like a triangle. So the protagonist can know but the setting can know but the horror can know but the person. So depending on who's got the spotlight, you could then use your token to be like, I don't think so, and change something about it. And I just thought that was a really fun, again, storytelling around the thing. And you could play up to 6 people with 2 people playing each role. So it's almost like you're tag teaming in.
Nice.
So I really liked. I'm a big fan of that one. And that's also a bit Twin Peaks like as well when you're describing.
What kind of setting is it? What kind of like genre?
Pastoral Americana horror.
Oh, interesting. Oh, right, interesting.
Yeah, so again, it could be anything in that sense. It's a very weird game. Don't get me wrong.
The worst version of that came to mind was Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, like
I completely noped out of that movie when, like, not physically but visually. When the minute they were like, because in the beginning, as such an aside, but they drive past the creepy person and go, we shouldn't go in there. That's clearly creepy. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they go, but then they turn around and you're
useless.
Like,
you're like,
this
guys.
is like, why did you need to put that in there? It's so stupid thing. I was like,
funny.
It's actually not a bad movie. In the end, I think, wasn't it? I can't remember. There's a weird ending to it as well. Like, there's a weird.
I think it's that movie where like usually the guy who is being killed, it's just his face being hollowed out and there's no eyes, and then the Jeepers Creepers person's eyes come up to it, and that's the end of the movie. That's what I remember from that one.
That's it, yeah.
Horrible.
But there's definitely, but that's the kind of pastoral Americana horror kind of thing, isn't it? I think, It's such a weird movie.
I keep looking at this thing. Another Forged in the Dark game, which I really enjoyed, actually, was one called Teeth, which is Blood Cotillion. It's like they had like a group of like little one shots that you could do to introduce a system, and Blood Cotillion we're all playing like ladies, like ingenues at a ball.
The cotillion, the sort of thing, the debutante.
Exactly. But we were all like trained assassins trying to find whatever this blood ritual was.
Southern Belles, I guess, is the kind of thing. Cotillion. It's the sort of Southern French influence on the sort of Southern states, wasn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. So that was a lot of fun. Because the system was, again, dead easy because it's all Forged in the Dark. And then the other one I really enjoyed, I think I'm going to play... Well, I don't know if I'll be able to play more of it, but I definitely will listen to more of the show it's based on. There's one called Silt Verses, published by The Gauntlet. And Silt Verses is... It's a drama. It's similar to, like, if you've listened to Magnus Archives or anything like that, where it's like people go around and they are, like... pilgrims of various old gods, but it's all very folk horror. Like, you go into a forest and then you got to appease the old god, otherwise you won't leave, and all that sort of thing. In the game, you are playing these like pilgrims and you're solving mysteries. Again, similar to what happens in the show. It was. I'd never heard of the show before I played it, and I listened to a couple of episodes, and really good. Really enjoyed it. Nice. So again, full on folk horror. So instantly, I'm there for it. So hello, it's me. What I will say, obviously, then this play report doesn't have any too much in terms of solo games. I did one for Where recently, which was my late father's correspondence. That's not on here because I was doing it literally day by day, and I didn't make a note of it because it wasn't in my thing. But there you go. That I've done a lot. She says.
Yeah, that is a lot. I mean, I always say you've played so many games, and then you go and do 135 sessions in 1 year is incredible. Yeah.
And people might say, is that too many? And I'm like, possibly. But at the same time, like I said, not all of it was me running games. Not all of it was me. But I found it interesting that I got such a wide spread of different genres. And D&D didn't even make it into top. Only towards the end of the year did I play D&D.
Did you enjoy going back to D&D?
I did. But again, it's been really interesting.
Familiarity?
Well, I've said it before. It's like, because I know it so well. I'm not worried about like getting stuff wrong, or if I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Why? I'm like, it doesn't matter because we'll work it out. I definitely, I said on the previous one, is like we had a really fun story, and I wonder because I know, I guess for you, because obviously I've talked a lot about what I've played this year. I know obviously you've played like the Old World, for example, and quite a bit of Warhammer Fantasy, and I think we did a bit of Mork Borg as well.
Mork Borg as well this year. Yeah,
it's that sort of thing where I'm like, there's definitely stuff where you come back to and you're like, oh, I don't need to worry too much, or I know it so well that I can break those rules. You know what I mean? So, but it's interesting how I've gone, oh, I didn't do as much D&D as I would have done in the previous years because of the home game and stuff like that. But now I'm like, it was fine to go back to, but like like I said, not one of these really stands out to me. I could talk about wax lyrical about why I really enjoyed it, but I think that's the key thing, is that a lot of these are one shots or very short series, not a long going one, and I kind of miss that.
I feel like I'm aching for that, and like something with a bit more meat to it. Do you know what I mean? Like a proper like get involved in a game sort of thing. I kind of agree, because I've had probably more games as a player I've had in years this year, because I had both, as we mentioned, the Backwater Bastards being part of their show and doing four sessions, I think, 4 or 5. So I can't remember.
We definitely.
You'll know.
I will go check, because we all have the same number, I think, unless you'll tell me something otherwise. I think it was 4 sessions.
4 sessions, exactly.
I think so.
And then and then we had 3 sessions of our Old World, the Old World one as well. So I got to be a player in 2 of those, which is fun. It was nice to be a player again, and really enjoyed that. And it has led to the fact that my friend Jordan is looking to run a home game of the old world itself. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be involved. Like, let me in. So because I'm really eager to just like, yeah, exactly, just play and have that as a sort of. I miss having that sort of back game when I had that Strahd game. It was quite nice to have that.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that as well. Like, again, a lot of these games that I was looking at in the play report, they're online, they're for content, and there's like one or two that were offline because it's like, I'll run this one shot for my friends. But I was thinking to myself, I'd like to be able to run something or be a part of something that is like, we've talked about it before, between 8 to 10 sessions, basically the length of a shorter American TV show, right? And I was thinking to myself, God, I miss wanting to finish Strahd and all that sort of thing. So I'm wondering what are my New Year's resolutions? There's a local gaming shop near me.
Nice.
See if I can go in and just offer to run, because they've been doing. They've been trying like they've done like Pathfinder, they've done D&D. They're doing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is fine. Again, that's another. I think that's powered by the apocalypse. But like, it's one of those things where I'm like, if I can go and set up and be like, I'm just going to run something really easy, and then be like, this group of people seem really cool, and just go from there. Because there's always, we've talked about this before, that there's sometimes there's that worry about getting a good gaming group and not wanting to lose it, but also, do you want to play in it? Do you want to, there's always sort of things. Like it's meeting friends, making friends as adults, so bloody difficult. And because you just go, oh no, I don't necessarily gel with this person's GM style. Fuck,
exactly.
So you have
that's the thing, isn't it? There's always that sort of risk, but that's part of putting yourself out there and going to meet people.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Yes.
No, but it's true. And like, but I just kind of want to have that game away from the screen a little bit, or even if it is like online, but away from it being recorded, just because I think it'd be nice. But then on that, you mentioned it, is Chris Handley messaged me literally yesterday saying, all right, I think I'm planning to be finished with all my writing commitments at the end of Christmas. Let's do Imperium Maledictum. I want to do it.
Fab,
and he agreed with the same sentiment that he wants to do something that's more like 8 to 10 sort of sessions. He's got a really good idea for like where to run it. We'll go proper cyberpunk on it and stuff like that. Nice. So I reached out into our little group yesterday, and so Chloe is on board, Will's on board already. So
nice.
I'm sure it will be starting sort of end of Jan sort of plan.
Nice.
So that'd be nice, and that would be a good thing to kickstart the new year. But I think more games is on my. I don't think I'll hit 135, but I think like
I hope not to either. I think I'd like to diversify out into like just again less games but long things. But I want to read more. That's the thing. In our Discord, I asked people what their New Year's resolutions were, and a lot of people obviously like, we want to play more games, run more games, which is again always for. But our friend AJ was like, I need to go through my like shelf and like sort out games I will not play, and I'm just there going like,
sort of thing.
As much as I enjoyed Call of Cthulhu, I ain't gonna read those terrible Call of Cthulhu Investigator's Handbook. It's a terrible book. Like, it's got some nice things. I've got the PDF. Why do I need, so I need to find a way to donate them to a place that will appreciate them. And maybe the local game store, I don't think has a RPG library, but that's where I would think to go. So I don't think Call of Cthulhu would work at the high school, after school D&D club. I'm like, hey, here you go, kids. The Necronomicon.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I mean, if you want to get this satanic panic started again, that's the way to start it.
Yeah, in my small town in America,
I think that'll go down
that bloody so British lady. She comes in here with her books and her bigger ideas. Oh.
I think next year, I've done a lot of writing. I've done some big books. I think my next year is I'd like to do I've got some little supplement ideas for what I've done.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to do a bit of that for a bit. So, and then at the same time, just enjoy playing games again and doing some things for a bit. Just have a break from writing for a while.
You've done so much writing this year. I know, it's just like that big hefty tome you're ready to kill someone with,
The weapon.
The weapon.
Yeah. So I think that's my plan. I think also I'd like to do some solo games. I think would be nice. I picked up one because everything that's got Wraith in the name I just buy. So I bought that Wraithhound one, which I actually gave away to my uncle for Christmas because I thought he might enjoy it.
Oh, nice.
So I need to buy another copy.
Oh no, got to fund the local India RPG designer.
Dear. Yeah. I'd like to do that as a sort of like exercise.
Well, you got at Dragonmeet, you got the Mementos Oracle
I've got that one.
Yeah,
beautiful book.
What's that one
cool.
called? Yeah.
Magus, which comes with this Oracle deck. The Magus, it's called.
Very much like my vibes. There is the Magus. No one can see that at home. I really recommend it. It's cool. The tagline is the book. The Magus is the book that will help you tell a unique story about the quest for arcane mastery and the loneliness of power. And the Oracle deck, which is gorgeous, will help inspire you as you write your character's journal, the ultimate artifact and yield of this game. But never forget, you may only face 7 events before the end. Time runs quickly, and you will need to make difficult choices.
Very good.
I'm quite excited to have a go at that. So so that's my starter off.
Well, one thing I'm sure you do this. I appreciate you've spent all this year like writing, but like. One thing that The Artist Way, that terrible, terrible book that I'm sure every creative has ever recommended to you, is like a 12-week course of like being appreciative and giving your time for yourself. It always suggested 2 things, which was morning pages, is that when you get up, you write God knows what, to get up and you get all the stuff out for the day. And then artist self-dates, where you go and take yourself to somewhere and embrace your inner child. But I used to use in the pandemic the self dates, because that's when I did this fucking book. Because obviously I wasn't going anywhere, so I did this 12-week one. I would just do solo games. I would do that as my artist self date. It was like, this is my afternoon. I've got 3 hours to do as much as I can for this sort of, and put that in as a diary thing. So that's what I suggest to you. If you're able to, I appreciate. You have a lot more family commitments and stuff than I do, but it was just a way that's in the diary. I must do this.
No, 100%. I think, I mean, I've always done that with my like mini painting, because that's the thing with the solo game as well, is that's the benefit of the solo game, is that like mini painting, you can do that when you get an hour or 2 hours, which is much more manageable than like a game where I need to be organized is never as easy. But actually, when I get like, like yesterday, I had a lion, Fiona. It was wild, right?
Whoa, Hamilton,
and
badass.
Then we went out and about, and I actually had a coffee after lunch, which meant I was super wired when everyone went to bed at like 10 o'clock. So I was like, well, I'm going to stay up for 2 more hours. And, that's the time that you get to yourself that you can actually like do things, because you're like, A, I'm not super tired, and B, I've also had way too much coffee today. So this is when you can like do some writing, or I played Factorio for 2 hours, which is not very helpful, but it's also
it's the same thing. Time. I'll say what though, because I discovered the obviously the joys and the perils of staying up very late. Cause obviously with Last Time Rewind, I was cutting down to the wire, and so I was like, I have to stay up till 3 a.m. most nights just to get it done. And again, lucky enough that I didn't have work necessarily starting the next day. But I'd get to I'd get tired around 11, and then my partner would go to bed, and the cat would go with him, and then suddenly I was like, oh my god, I was so quiet. I could just, and then before I knew it, like I did like a lot of work, and I was like, wow, it's 2:30. And then there was a moment where I go,
a lot done.
I could keep going, and I was like, no, you have to finish it, because otherwise you are wrecked, right? And it was actually such a good. I really enjoyed it, but now I have to.
Time.
Yeah, it's like bonus time. I can't believe it. But of course, you're sacrificing sleep, right? But I thought to myself, I will definitely do that again when I need to. But because I used to be a person at university, Hamilton, that didn't do all-nighters. I couldn't do it. I know. Again, privilege perhaps. I don't know, but I was just saying, like, I can't do. I couldn't focus at all. And then this, because it's again. Podcasting, editing, all that sort of thing was just dead easy. I can't do anything I can't like do any recording or anything like that, because I don't want to wake up neighbours and my partner. But I was like, editing I could do late at night. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
No, it's a good time to do it. But time does disappear when you edit it, because you go into that fugue state and just like edit, change this. I'll do one more thing. I'll do one more edit. So it's like,
I'll be there going like, I could do another 10 minutes. Yeah.
Easily do it. And the next minute it's an hour and a half later.
You're like,
fuck.
Yeah. I'll tell you another New Year's resolution I have, and I don't know, it's one of those things where I keep going like, I've got this idea, I should do it, but I have an idea for a solo game, and I need to sit down and just write it down, right? Because I've got an idea. Basically, it's just a 21 card prompt game, which based on I think I've told you about it. There's that game I played years and years ago called The Beast, where basically it's 21 days, and then at the end you make a choice, and that's all it is. And so what I need to do is just sit down, write out the premise, and then think of 21 prompts, or it's 28 prompts, and then you take 21 of them, and then the ending. That's all it is. I just need to sit down and have the time to do it. You know, I know you're saying that first.
Just write the synopsis.
Yeah.
Like as an ADHDer, the trick that I've to make myself functioning, my trick is to just start writing, right? Which you can probably tell from my writing.
Let's see, how much writing have you done this year?
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like, but if I start a sentence, when I've started a sentence, and even if I leave that, like, just go and sit down at your computer and start the first sentence, right? And then leave it. If you don't want to keep going, just tell yourself, all I'm going to do is write the first sentence down, or just the synopsis down, like a paragraph, right? And then run away, right? Run away as quickly as possible. No, but if you can't do any more, sometimes that will be enough. But most of the time, it'll be like, okay, I've done that. I can leave it. I've done for the day, right? And then tomorrow, it'll be so much easier to pick up where you left from. Right. It's literally all you need to do. Once you've started that paragraph, then the next day it's easier, and then the next day it's easier until you write 520 pages of a book.
It's like, you save £1 a week and then double it, you'll have £1 million by the end of the year.
But it's that kind of, but it seriously is 100% like, it's such an old saying, but I find just start the folder, start the Word doc, the Google Doc, just start writing, and then you'll be on the train. You'll be like, I can do that for 5 minutes. Well, no trains in America, but you know what I mean. You'll be at home.
Very true. Very true. No, I think that's my main thing. Is try and get a home game in person, whether it's at the store or something here. Yeah. Write the solo game idea.
Do it. I'm going to keep asking you about it, so it'll become awkward. So you're going to have to do it. Okay.
And then clear out books I don't need. Well, those are my 3 sort of New Year's resolutions, which are a bit flexible on that sense.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. I just wondered, like, looking at review of the year, I've got up our old podcast, our list of podcasts that we've done this year.
Okay.
So we actually had quite an interesting, and I've forgotten, beginning of the year to myself, I must admit, which is actually quite D&D heavy for us. There's been a lot of, probably because of timings and organisation, a lot of bonus episodes with
I don't know what you're talking about, yes.
Yeah, Fiona's been like, you know, well,
to be fair, we moved our recording day this year, and then we're going back to our normal recording day in the new year, which I think we're both like, hooray!
Exactly, finally we're back. So we'll see. Hopefully, it will be more and more than before. But because we were at one point double daying. You know, it was like Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening was normally our like go-to like double up. You know, so we were like creating so much content, but it's been a bit of a up and down year. But we started off with a Legend of Drizzt book club. We did Exile straight at the beginning. Then there was a couple of bonus ones which looked at D&D homebrewing, Arsan Tools, Grits and Glory, which is the Thief Pod Blast, which looked at 5e like from. Just look generally at their stuff. I didn't listen to that one. What was it? What was that?
Which one was it again? Sorry, I missed that.
Grits and Glory. Grits and Glory.
Yes, it was like a. I can't remember their name, unfortunately, but they came on the podcast. Michael, yes, they talked about their hack for their actual play podcast, where it was like really hardcore,
cool,
proper like grim dark, like you are not going to survive. And like again, I think at the time, like, there was some really cool like optional rules to make it really hard, like, or like make it everything count. Basically, stop making D&D feel very heroic, and it feels more realistic, almost a bit like
OSR.
Yeah, like I was thinking more Iron Sword. Like again, it's like you're on, you know, that's something, because it was all a solo thing. It felt like a very solo thing. Yeah.
Nice. We did Infernal Machine Rebuild, which I think was the follow-up, which we did last year, the year before. It was Lost Laboratory of Qualish, which I enjoyed both of those, actually. I think they were really good. I go back to them being quite fun stories. You then we did our own retrospective. You did a really cool, You did a really cool thing with Benjamin Gray, which was perception checks and how to improve them, which was quite cool. And Michelle Kelly did Blades in the Dark.
Yes.
We talked about that, which we've already talked a little bit about, but that was quite good. Came back with a bit of Drizzt, which then led into our 10 Towns look at, which was from Icewind Dale.
Yes.
Which I think was interesting. I think we kind of enjoyed.
We had some bits from it, didn't we? Like, some interesting bits.
Bits we were a bit annoyed about, and I think a little bit, but you know, that's evil.
Like I've not read past that chapter, to be fair, with Icewind Dale. I was like, done now. I don't need to know any more about the Frost Maiden.
Exactly. Then we had our spoilers. They didn't like it from the show notes. Scions of Elemental Evil.
Oh God, yeah, awful free, yeah,
painful. Yeah.
We did say to ourselves we should go back and read the actual adventure module, and then we never did, because it is quite a hefty tome, that one, I seem to remember.
Yeah, and then we did Unearth the Arcana for the Artificer, which I've seen the Eberron book. It's tiny. It's really weird. It's like, I saw the hardcover, and it's a hardcover, and it's like 40 pages, and I'm like, it's very strange.
It was really interesting because they announced it sort of last minute. Do you remember? Because they were like, "Oh, we're getting another book." Oh, okay. I think they were
I feel they did a Hamilton. They wrote too much. They couldn't fit it in the Forgotten Realms book. And the new thing, they couldn't actually afford to do a whole Eberron book. So they then thought, we'll spin it off unchanged.
Oh yeah, I've not looked at it yet. But maybe again, is that something that maybe we should in the new year? And I know we talked about Forgotten Realms stuff as well. So yeah.
Well, there may be some travelling book clubs happening sometime. We'll see.
Exciting.
We did those Eladraine creatures, which was that fairy tale Wilds of Zane MTG set.
Yeah, it was like a primer thing. Yeah. I enjoyed that. Yeah,
that was good. There were some nice little things in there. Then there was Eat the Right, the first of our GS book club, which was content warning: fascism, war, Nazis, blood, ultra-violent, and vampires.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got your audience right. You don't want to have any of those fascists come to listen to our book club. Bugger off.
Yeah, exactly. And then we did, you did The City Beneath, which was dungeon crawling, and Heart. You did Heart with
Shahig. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they before they became the producer editor of the One Shot podcast a little while ago, they ran their own podcast, which was all about Heart, and the actual play. And it just sounded like a lot of work went into it, and they did like 1.5 seasons, 2 seasons, and then obviously as all actual plays do, unless it just falls apart. But Heart always sounded like a very interesting.
Yeah, I love the blow yourself up mechanic. Basically, the sort of like you get horrifically destroyed. I quite like that. We then did Hold Back the Dead, Tower Defense, which we
that was a dreadful one. Yeah. This is where it goes downhill for Wizards, and we all go, you know what, let's read other books.
Subclasses. Yeah, not the best thing either.
Yeah.
So then we had Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition, which was, I think, we enjoyed. We took a lot of nice things from it. Did a bit of better backstories, which was quite fun.
Yes.
Yeah. We did a lot of Fae. We did a lot of Fae for a few episodes.
Because you got that big book. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. So we did 4 parts of that, and I think it was an up and down.
Yeah, we had some good bits, and then we had some really rough ones.
Yeah, it was because it comes from, what's his name?
Ed Greenwood, I want to say.
Ed Greenwood, who wrote it. It was a separate thing, but through DM's Guild, just a relook at Fae. Yeah, I think if you're someone interested in Fae, it was a good read. I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. There was a lot of crap in it. I think there was a lot of trudging as well.
Well, it's interesting because like now it sounds like from some of the UA we'd looked at towards the end of the year, which I know you'll talk about, but like Dark Sun settings coming back, so maybe a Fae setting might come. I feel like everyone wants a Dark Times setting. Yeah. That's what we're looking for, I think.
Yeah, it would be an interesting shout. I think it's an interesting location that could be dealt with really, if it was dealt with really well, would be a really interesting one to play. And I think if they focused on 2 or 3 cities, really delved into lore, gave a really good like grand narrative, delved into the fact of Saztam, and then the alternate Zolkirs, the Zolkirs that are sort of forming outside of Thay and their sort of interpretation of that, and like pit against all those things. I think you could find a really good story and narrative
100%.
in there.
Yeah.
But someone else to deal with.
not us.
Not us. Then there was Benjamin Gray came back again to talk about Tasty Lands of Silverplate.
Oh yes, Silverplate. Yeah,
setting.
Yeah, interesting that one. Yeah, because that was it had D&D elements in it, but like the character creation was all tags essentially. So a bit like City of Mist.
Nice.
And Legend of Mist. That's that sort of whatever that system is underneath it. I think it's just called the Mist system. I can't remember.
Powered by the Apocalypse, really, at the end.
Really, is that plus some tags? That's what it is. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, and playbooks and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and then we did Mothership, which was
it was fine. I enjoyed it, but yes, I understand. Like, I mean, from that episode, and I always go on about Quinn's quest and that. Like, he always said about like relationships between people, and that's made me really think about, like, when I'm making characters, we need that beginning, like, why do I care about your character in this moment? So it made me 100%. Think a lot about that from reading.
No, and I thought it was one of the best examples of how to explain gameplay to people 100%. And how to role play well, which I thought was actually really impressive. Horror subclasses, which was actually a pretty good Unearthed Arcana.
It was, but we spent most of the episode going like, oh, is Strahd coming back? And it was like, no, it's Stranger Things. And we're like, boo!
No. Yeah, exactly. It was a shame, but they are revised classes we probably liked anyway in their first round, like Phantom from Rogue and College of Spirits. I've always liked as Bard. You know, it was a bit of classic, a bit of like the classic 5.5e thing of making things slightly better, but also kind of making things slightly worse. And you're kind of like, well, we've all ended up in basically the same place, but one thing's up, one thing's down.
What are they doing with it? Like, is it going to be, like, again, because we don't have, currently at time recording, don't have any information about the next couple of books. So, again, we know there might be a reimagined setting, perhaps. I think that's still on the cards, but no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't quite understand it. I think it's just a cop-out. I think it's a cop-out to make a slightly better system, slightly better monsters. I agree with the monster stat blocks. I think they're great. I don't mind the odd ones. But I think other than that, I'm kind of like not bothered by it at all, really.
It shows with our DM's book club, like going like, let's talk about other games, I think, towards the end of the year.
Well, I think so. And I think they missed the chart. I think they missed a trick. I think what they should have done is they should have just kept 5e and done a little bit. Like, I think the people that have got it right are probably Cubicle 7, where they've come along and they've got Wooferup, and then they've come up with the old world, which is basically Wooferup basic. Yeah. I think what they should have done is gone, look, we're going to keep 5e going. We're going to make advanced Dungeons and Dragons again, and we'll keep basic Dungeons and Dragons as 5e, and we'll do advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Keep them supported, absolutely.
Exactly. Make a 6th edition, this is a rebranding of the whole rule set to something really different. And I think they could have done it. I think, but then again, I'm also of the mind of, I don't think you need to change it. No. I don't think you need to. I think actually you've got a pretty goddamn decent system there that everyone knows. Spend all your time making good books for
again, it's that whole thing of 50th anniversary. We need to but
I would have preferred more Forgotten Realms books or more books that are related to
I would have liked the 50th anniversary. Now that I think about it, I think like an updated player guide and DM's guide just containing all the stuff you need. And like exactly. I think like we said, like beginning of this year, last year, like those books are great if you're just starting now, but it's not like, you need these to play. It's like, you don't. They're just a nice new updated version, and then we can continue. Yeah, but I think marketing and Hasbro got in the way, I think, so.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's the end. That's the end of it, really. That's the be-all and end-all of their problems.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
You did Improv Gamers, which is a really nice little thing with Nathan from RPG and Reanimators podcast, which I think is a classic thing. I said using the book by Karen Twelves, which is Evil Hat Productions, who do loads of stuff.
So Karen 12 is an editor there, and it's based on a workshop that she does quite a bit. It's an interesting, again, it's that sort of thing that inspired me when I'm doing workshops for improv. Is like, okay, it's for gamers who've never done improv, and I'm like, all right, what about improvisers who've never played RPGs? You know, so that's what I'm sort of thinking now. Decent book, really good. Yeah, and everyone was a joy to have on. So.
Yeah. And you had Tay, the legend that is, doing For the Queen.
For the Queen, and then Dialect at some point as well. Yeah.
A bit more unearthed kind in the Scion, which is when we figured out that they're clearly bringing back Stark Sun.
Yeah. Like, da-da-da. Yeah, that was with Alan.
We did our con review, which is the thing. Which was
God, like, the Renaissance one. Yeah. Fair. Wow, yeah.
Brindlewood Bay, which was with Ty from Side Character Quest. Our Old World RPG, The One Ring.
Yep.
Feast of Legends. Daggerheart. You did with Matt. Dialect you also did with Tay, as you mentioned. Then we played through a little bit of Omen of the Blood God.
Yeah.
Making Enemies with Keith and Mann. Any winning author of The Monsters Know What They're Doing, which is a really cool book. Generally, everyone should check that out. And we did our follow-up, Warhammer the Old World. Lands of Yowza with which is Adventures in ADHD. That was it, wasn't it?
Yes, that was with Khalil. Yes, it's it's a kind of adventure supplement. Yeah, it was interesting. Again, I know we were just going back. Oh, look at all these episodes that we did. Like, yeah, I'd recommend listening to that one. Going like, how could we write game modules that showcase folks who have ADHD sensitively? And I think it does a good job. But good God, what a book to read through.
Oh, really? Is it very ADHD written? I guess.
Project Scope, Hamilton. That you've talked about it yourself. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I'm just calling myself out here. Then we did Shadow Dark.
Yes, yeah.
We did one Planescape this year, which is actually quite
That's not bad for us,
not bad for us, which was the Uncased Phase Sigil, which I really love that book so much. I've been talking about it for years. So
you've been talking about it to me for years, and I'm like, all right, fine. And then I read it, I'm like, yes, you were right.
I was right.
Very good.
It's very good.
And we talked about how much we would have loved more books like that. Of having groups of NPCs. Again, whilst I don't know about the execution of it personally, it made me think a lot more about I like stuff like this where I can get interesting NPCs and how they connect to each other and all that sort of thing.
100%.
So,
exactly. And then there was actually the best thing I think that came out of Wizards, which was Defile, Apocalyptic Subclasses, the other Arcana that we just did the other week. Well, a couple months ago now, but a month ago now. That is probably the best thing that's come out of Wizards in a long time.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, we got very excited about it, and we were very animated. You can always tell when we like something because we talk about it. The episode goes definitely it hits the just over an hour mark. If there's something we don't like it's like, well, I mean, it'll also go over for 1 hour 30 as well, and we're like,
exactly.
Well, they like
That's 100%. That's probably the Wizards with the win at the end, just to give them, not that ultimately won the whole year, but I think that was the one moment where I was like, my faith has been reaffirmed slightly in it.
Yes.
But then we did Blade Runner, and I just don't want to care about any other game for a bit because I'm now absolutely in love with it. I don't want to do more.
I know. Yeah. Exactly. That's so funny. When I was like, let's finish on a high for GM's Book Club. Oh, well, that's our personality for the rest of this year.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think you did Zumi's Be Like a Cat, which was...
It's a solo game. We did that with Nandi. It was fine. I think again, talking about solo games, I feel like my need for a solo game is does it need to be really crunchy? Does it need to be very narrative? Because I always think solo games, they are a bit more narrative and reflective. Be Like a Cat felt very much like a resource management game, a little bit more crunchy. And I was like, I don't feel it. Because in my head, I'm like, I could be a cat. Oh, well, that feels like diary entries to me. And it was, but it wasn't. I think I wasn't keen on the mix compared to Be Like a Crow, which was the first game they did, which was definitely a bit more there was still a little bit more management stuff, but it felt more narrative from my point of view. And maybe it's because each of the crow types, as it were. There's loads of different kinds of corvid, but also they had Cyber Crow,
cool.
Tower of London Crow, whereas the cat ones was you could be any cat, you could be a stray, a home cat, or an in-between cat, and it doesn't matter what kind of cat. And you're like, I guess, but it was quite nice to be a fantasy crow.
I want some classes. I want some I want something to give me something to build upon, which is which needs to be critical in it.
I think you know what, I would have loved to again, because it was you're a kitten, young adult, senior, fine. But I was like, you know what I want Big Chonk. That's what I want to play. Big Chonk cat. It doesn't matter what type of cat.
Fat cat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you have Ginger Cat, the ones that have no brain cells,
the crazy ones. They are always the crazy ones. Yeah. Having had one, 100%.
There you go. Yeah.
And then you started your own little solo play of the world building deck from Jason Leto as well, which I haven't yet listened to that was a couple of days ago.
No, well, of course, because we ran out of time, because I did bring my mic to Dragon Meet, and then, of course, we got busy by just seeing each other and seeing other people. But, I've been, basically, it's this deck I've got on my desk here, and it's these cards. I'll show you, they're nice big cards, and each of them has a prompt on the back, and it's the first part of it is take two of these choices and one of these other choices, and it's a list. And so you take those, and then you have 4 questions to answer, and you can do it as yourself, or you can do it as a group of people.
Yeah.
The categories are institutions, places, people, rumours, and what was the other one? The other one was... I'm going to have to look. It wasn't rumours, it was history. Nice. And I think they've got some good ones. Some of them take me a little while, but I wonder if that's just because it's just me on my own going But I did come up with one. It'll be out by the time this episode comes out, but there was one which was like a punishment. What kind of punishment was it going to be? And I came up with the idea of a rogues gallery, in the sense of that any person that had been found stealing some sort of artifact or thing would be turned into that artifact as a replacement, and it'd be on display as the rogues gallery.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's disgustingly cool.
I felt very cool. You can hear me trying to work it out, going like this, and I go, oh my god, I'm so clever. Rose Gallery. I'm just like, oh, I'm a genius. So yeah, there you go.
I like that. So they get turned into the artifact and they're just there on display.
There's a falsehood and a truthhood about it. And I think the wizards who have sold this service to the city council have said like, oh, well, we've got these, special frames or the vase or whatever they get. So, it's just a containment, but it's actually, they are polymorphed into these things. So it's actually their bodies that have been turned into these things. So they are in a lot of pain. So there you go. That was my, yeah, as you can tell, steal away the literal Rose Gallery is what I called it. So
there's a heist story ready to go that's going to be really fucked up. Like when you get the thing and it starts screaming, you're like,
and you realise that someone else has stolen it and they've been tried and they're on not on bail, but you know what I mean. They're ready to go to trial on it and they've been turned into the thing in anticipation. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. You should make that. That'd be kind of a cool little trap as well. Like if you do try and steal it, that's just what happens.
This is the magical. You become
it automatically does it to you, sort of thing.
Because it feels like because you are it's almost like the fake, right? You are the replacement. That's what I was thinking of. Hamilton, let's end on you've talked about having some personal subjective awards for RPGs.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
The DM's Book Club Awards 2025.
Yeah, so official. Sponsored by Hamilton and Fiona.
Sponsored by the GM's Book Club.
Oh, it's all circular.
Yeah. No, I just thought it would be nice to have a look at we kind of talked about what you've played already a little bit in the sense, but I guess it's kind of what is your I think if we're thinking of things that what is the favorite thing you found or game of the year? What would be your game of the year that sort of quintessentially expresses the year? And that could be an old game, but I guess in my mind, I think I've got some contenders to the throne.
Please.
Things I've read that I think sort of say something about the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so absolutely.
My first one is Doomsong. Right.
I was going to ask if that was going to come up. Yeah.
Yes, it was going to come up by Caesar Inc. I've got it here. It's quite a big book as well. It's a beautifully written book. It's got very much my vibes, all black and white and all sort of zodiac signs and stuff like that. So big fan. But I think what it says about the gaming atmosphere this year is I think it shows there's three things. One is mechanical play, which I think is as in playing with mechanics in really interesting ways. In this regard, the one I want to talk about the most is the fact that you can die in character creation, which I think is really ingenious. And character creation is a real, is one of the best forms of character creation that I've ever seen, in the sense that, it's so thematic to the game. The game is about sort of an apocalyptic, medieval, religious oligarchy, basically, the world is in. And so there's heretics and there's religion, and it's very clear, and there's pestilence and it's horrific and all that stuff. And when you create your character, you can be cursed, you can become part of you can then repent at the end, or you can just die by the heresy, being part of the sort of, and it's very gloomy, but it's a really cool, very thematic. The way you build a character is really awesome. I think then on top of that, I think artistically it shows real quality in terms of just every single page is a piece of artwork.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw a physical copy at Dragon Meet and I was like, damn, gorgeous. Really gorgeous. It really
is. Absolutely gorgeous book. And I think just the quality of books generally has just been really gone up a gear, I think, in the last year, which is why I do say things when I look at games when we looked at the first edition of Mothership, and I know it's much better now, but certain books that we've looked at that I just think, wow, you're Mothership, I don't think is so much anymore when we read the new one, but there are some books that I picked up, this other book, which I didn't show you, called In the Ashes, right, which is a solo game.
Oh, wow. Right?
And these are the pages.
Oh gosh, some really beautiful colours, like layout wise. Yeah, it feels like there's more of an effort gone for the interior art style rather than just like, it's 2 colours. Oh my god, some gorgeous artwork there.
Sort of just like other books like this that just kind of come to that level, and that Magus one I said, which is Tomatoes, which is doing amazing things. But then there's some that I pick up that are just like not of a quality at the same level, which is kind of wild. And I won't say their names out loud, but it's just, that's the kind of thing, and you're just kind of quite shocked by the variety. That's why I think Doomsong's a really cool one. That was my first one. I think then the Old World I have to mention, because I think what it showed in that sense is like a big company like Cubicle 7 coming out and stating that rules heavy books like Woofrup could also do with a basic version. I think it's a really interesting move. I think it's something that I could, so as I was saying with D&D, I could so see them doing a similar thing in both sides of the fence, going more crunchy and going less crunchy. And I think Wizards could do so. I think lots of companies could benefit from maybe thinking that way about their games and thinking, actually, you know what, if I've got a really crunchy system, I could probably make a rules-light version of my game. That could be really interesting. Do I make it a slightly different setting? A bit like, I guess what comes to mind is sort of Heart and Spire. They're two sides of the same coin. In a different way, they kind of similarly crunch levels, I would say, from what I've very briefly read of them. I feel like there's ways that one could exist in the same realm, but make different games. And I think people would enjoy that. I think sessions that are longer could really, I think making mechanics for particular things, like I don't know, jumping into a solo way of running a solo game as part of a wider campaign for ways for people at home to build their character up whilst they're not in session, for example. So that's kind of what that made me think of. And I think it's kind of important for things that I think are like key to this year. And I think my final one was Ironheart. This one.
Oh, yes, of course, from Parable Games.
Yeah. And the reason I bring it up is I think what it shows is that you should never judge any company by their cover. And I think that's what I mean by that is Parable Games have made some really amazing horror-based games, right? And like you look at the stuff that they've done with not only all the Shivers and the multiple version, and I know they've done blockbuster and less sort of slashery films.
Well, they've got a slasher version of it as well, but it's two separate things. Yeah.
But they also have the Gothic. They started with Gothic. They have this one. I forget the one which has got about the Rat King, which is really cool and is all Warhammer Underworlds one. Yeah. They do have the slasher one. They did do the Monster of the Week style one, which is sort of like the blockbusters.
They've got a corporate one coming out, which is like Shiver Corporate,
Shiver Corporate, exactly. Which that's my final point I was going to get onto, the corporate thing. Corporate is big right now.
Oh my god,
it's fucking
everywhere.
It's everywhere. Please, people, we don't actually need a new one unless you've got a seriously good idea, because I really do feel that if you really want corporate games, and this is something I want to talk about maybe another time, is Cyberpunk 2020. I think if you really want to get into some great corporate stuff, Mike Pondsmith, who wrote Cyberpunk, I've been watching lots of his videos recently because I've been getting back into Cyberpunk. I'm like, for reasons of my potential next book thing, long down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, there's worlds to go, and because we're looking at Shadowrun, anyway. But my point is, yes, but Ironheart, my point originally on it is that they've come out with something so different, artistically, visually, emotionally, and mechanically. Well, mechanically a little bit more similar, but still, it's a very cool level, I guess, of like rules lightness. I mean,
yes,
it's a really nicely put together book with a really different way. So don't ever think, it just shows that it's so easy to think there are horror people and they come up with something like that, which is kind of incredible.
Well, because they've done the Sisterhood books as well recently, which is like nuns doing whatever.
I'm waiting on that to come through. Very excited by that.
Which again, people are like, oh, is it going to be horror? And it goes, well, it's more action based, but also there'll be a little bit of horror to it. But again, I agree. Like Ironheart, for me, I'm not a big fan of mech stuff personally, just because that's just never been my vibe. But this seemed really nice because it's a solo game. It's about you and your mech suit, and I just thought, like, what a great introduction to it. And what I liked about it was that it wasn't, as I believe, I'm sure you're about to correct me, it's not written by the Menzies brothers, Ben or Charlie, it's by Ben Alexander, I want to say, who is the...
And Charlie.
And Charlie. Oh, Charlie was there, so ignore
the art is all by Ben, but
yes, but I was going to say,
Ben and Charlie
Ben does a lot of the art and stuff like that, but this, I believe this is one of Ben's like spearheaded project, which is nice to see that. So I'm really glad that they're branching out, and I'm a big fan of their work. Like obviously Charlie wrote Don't Play This Game, so that's solo like a horror legacy game where you're being haunted by something and all that sort of thing. So yeah, big fan of that.
I think also I love the art style. I love the quality of it, but I like things that they just put in here, like this page that I've taken out, right, which is like there are some who attribute these growing reports of sentience to the unique bonds that mechs build with their pilots. As pilots connect to the mechanical brain of the mech, the same happens in reverse. They receive data, reflexes, and nervous system responses to help aid in better control from their pilot. But some theorize the mechs receive more than that. They are fully connected to the brain of their pilot, seeing memories, emotions, and elements of the soul that determine decisions. They may not understand what these pools of data are initially, but as the pilot and mech sync bonds together, they begin to take on a personality born of this connection. And I just think, like, it's a really cool little, like, moment. I don't know. I know it's not an unheard of idea, but I think what I liked about it is little moments like that happen throughout this book of just like, here's a couple of paragraphs to make you really think about how you might play this game and what this game's trying to say, which is just quite fun. I can't find... that's the only one I can find really quickly off the top of my head. That one was the one that... It's just, it's really nicely written. And I think it's worth having a look at if you like mechs, particularly.
No,
I'm not a massive mech person either, but I actually quite enjoyed it. And I think it was... It's very pretty.
Yeah, I think I checked out the preview of it ages ago, like too long didn't read as well. Yeah, I'll definitely look back into it. Yeah, absolutely. In terms of I guess ones I'm looking forward to, because I've played a lot, run a lot this year, and I've sort of talked about like things I've enjoyed. Ones I'm looking forward to this year. Obviously, I am running Blade Runner at some point for RP Geeks, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
I've also received, again, because I am an Ennies judge this year, I've received quite a lot of PDFs of stuff. So ones maybe to look out for. Again, I can't confirm or deny. It's something like, we've been talking about it. Spine, a dark solo TTRPG about losing yourself in a book. I'll read you the bio. You're a researcher who has inherited this strange book from an estranged relative. Play by reading and following the prompts you find in the endnotes. Soon you discover you're being absorbed by the book, and the only way to lessen its power is by defacing it. So a little bit of like wreck this deck sort of thing. And there's a PDF version, but there is a physical book coming as well. And I was like, that sounds right up my street.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I guess actually another mech game that is coming out, or is out, that uses Apocalypse Keys engine, so the Evil Hat is called Girlframe, which is a TTRPG that tells stories about dehumanized mech pilots and their handler. So again, another mech one. Apparently it's got a lot of traction recently, so that's why I was like, something to look at. And other than that, I think I am looking forward to, I think you've sort of said it, like playing more solo games. I've got a whole list. I've got to finish off Kariko. That's my big one. Year in a Magical City. I've got 2 or 3 chapters in out of 8, and I want to finish it for where I just need to sit down and do the artist states essentially. But that one's a really beautiful book, and I again there are physical copies still of it available, and that's one I should get at some point, I think. So those are my ones on my list, as it were. But there's always so many Hamilton. You know how it is.
There are. I think, the ones on my list that will be coming is I've got Every Villain is a Loser coming through.
Oh,
which which I backed.
Which spells evil, I discovered.
Yes, exactly. Which is very cool. I've also got Sisterhood, which you mentioned. I've got Run from the Dark coming, which is by Will from Forbidden Psalm. So I'm looking forward to that, which is his Welsh-inspired, very cool sort of like a darkness plagues the land. In a far future, and when you travel between these cities, it's got like loads of like dozens of cities that you all with like realms, lore, locations, people, and these little things, and they've all got there's loads of different ways you manage light and darkness, and there's these cool little They're a bit like, did you ever play Final Fantasy, the Mogs? The Mogs that used to turn up.
Yeah.
Well, he's got these little characters that he's got people have created that are like these little Mog things that will turn up and like help you once, but once you've used their services, you will never get them again, sort of thing. And it's quite, I don't know, it's got a real cool mix of vibes, real folk horror things, really amazing artwork as ever. And I'm quite excited by that book. Yeah, Sisterhood, I think it's just for the fun of it, of just being nuns with guns. Sounds pretty cool. I think with yourself, I'm just looking forward to playing some games. I've written some games. I want to play some games now. I want to play some games now for
absolutely. But one thing, and again, sort of we've talked about it, but I think we definitely should do it because obviously with the Forgotten Realms books that are now out, I think it's time for another travel book club of some sort.
I think so.
Because
I think so.
We've sat down for the year, and let's go out into the things. So we'll definitely, maybe not straight away in the new year, because of course as soon as December finishes, then January becomes the void, as we're trying to basically pull ourselves back out of it.
Well, we've already mentioned it. We could talk about some ideas we have. These aren't set in stone. Maybe we can say it like caveat these heavily. But I think we want to go and have a look more at the Forgotten Realms. It's come out. It's here now, and it's been always on our shoulder. We've done Thay, so we could kind of rebrand that as the first of our travel book club.
Always recycle the content. Yes.
Exactly. No, but we could just rebrand it with it, and then we can. But there's also our looks at, I think we should look at, I'd like to look at Kalimshan. I'd like to look at Athar, isn't it, down the south, which is Athar, I can't remember which one it is, one on the coast. But also, I've got books on, I want to say Lustria, which is a Warhammer place, Luskan, and Baldur's Gate, In Depth, Neverwinter's got so much to it.
Oh, I love,
Waterdeep, I mean, we've done little bits about them, but I think there's some really interesting things that we could go around and look at. We've done the 10 towns already, so we've already done some of these things.
Oh, easy. We don't have to ever go back to the 10 towns.
Exactly. So we need to just, I think we should just try and find our way across the realms of the Forgotten Realms, and just sort of, Moonshade Isles are really interesting.
Yeah.
Moonbridge Place, Silver Bridge, Silver Lake, Silver something like that. It's a really interesting place.
We'll find out when we'll get the map out. I'm like, there we go, silvery,
back to
whatever.
Some Dritz.
I'd love to go back to some Dritz. Yeah, no, I was talking about it to someone recently about like, they asked me what my favourite fantasy novels were recently, and I was like, you know what I read at the beginning, or listened at the beginning of the year, it's like Dritz de Woerden novels, and they were like, oh yeah, and I was like,
oh wow,
yeah, no, I was like, wow, I thought I'd be the only one in that. So yeah, I think, I'd love to go back to some more Dritz stuff. Like, do you think we need to do that first trilogy of the whole people?
Yeah, I think we do. You have to do the Crescendo Bond. It's good though. It's good in its own way. It's good in its own way. It's good. It's intriguing. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is worth it.
All right. Well, we'll get that done. Obviously, we've talked about some GM's book club stuff. We've had some ideas in the Discord as well, so we'll shape those up.
Yeah, I think GM's book club, could be really. I've mentioned a couple on off. You might have heard momentarily ago, but I think there's some interesting worlds to explore, and I think some that maybe not. I think we've gone very quite obvious this year. A bit of I think couple very Free League heavy, but I think I think this year we're going to look for maybe a bit more of an extended run than 6. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, times and availabilities for both of us will apply to that. But I agree.
Yeah, like loads of terms and conditions apply.
The end notes are over on the next page, very Terry Pratchett style.
Yeah, exactly. So about this bit of speed, so you don't hear what we're saying. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it'd be nice to go back in time, look at some classics, revive some classics. Maybe we could herald the rebirth of some games that may have disappeared off into the distance. I don't know. Maybe a bit too strong, and we've got some fun other ideas in the works for next year. I've got so many world building RPGs. I'd be like, do you want to do some character stuff? We've got those as well. So yeah. And we should have another actual play moment as well. I think we should do
I should return the favour because you did it for me this time. So I've got maybe have to do something else. So we've got lots of ideas in the works. So we're not going anywhere unless our time zones change again and I move dates again. Well, thank you so much, Hamilton, for joining me for this year in review episode. Finally, where can we find you? What are you up to on the old interwebs?
Yeah, so with reprints coming out, you can go to my Etsy shop and you can buy Demon Slayer now. I've got the delivery notice, so they're all coming in. So you can go to. You could also, my website will be up, so you can actually soon go to Theatre macabre.co.uk and you'll be able to buy them direct from there, which would be great. So that will be soon happening. Then also Omen of the Blood God reprints will be coming possibly now in the new year, just because of the timing. I got the reprint through. I'd made a big boob, and so I have to. That's why you do test prints, and so I'm getting them retest printed again to make sure that this issue is resolved, and then I will have the full prints. So the full reprints aren't going to be coming until the new year now because of me making mistakes.
I just like the idea that it was like, what could it be, that mistake? You don't have to say, but I like the idea that it's just on the back page, it's just a picture of your face smushed up against the printer.
No, it was just like one of the key elements of it was not, I put in the old bit and not the new bit, and so it was like, it's like, and that's why you do these test prints, you know, you read through it and you see these things. And there was a couple of other things I noticed, like some page numbers weren't on and stuff like that, so I was like, you know what, I'll fix those up.
Let's fix it.
Get it done. That's the reason why you do this. So yeah, and then Wraithborn will be on sale in the new year, fully fledged as well, hopefully, if things go to plan. So that will be very exciting. And yeah, so you can find theatremacabre.co.uk with somewhere to go check out.
Heck yeah.
You can also find me Theatre Macabre everywhere. I've got some plans for the YouTube that will be mainly Wraithborn focused for the new year to start doing some things. And if people are interested, I am going to be on my Discord running some AMAs on Wraithborn as well.
Cool.
In the new year.
Nice,
as a little like workshop, like drop in, hey, I've been playing the game, but I have a question about it. Then you can feel free to like turn up, say your question, and I'll talk about like, if it's like, how does this magic system work? Or tell me more about the vampires, or what does this mean? You know, what's this god? What could I do to build this character? You know, anything like that, or adventure ideas or whatever.
Love that.
Those are my plans. But that is enough about me. Because
we have spent the whole hour talking about my games that I've played. So
yeah. And when I was in and amongst your 135 135 different games, and I was traveling through your mind vicariously into all these different worlds, there was only one word that came to my mind because I was so lost within them, and I was just screaming, where?
Yes, where? Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. Oh, God. Where is What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly tabletop actual play podcast, one-shot stuff. We are, I'm slowly going through the backlog of what it is. We've got currently out My Late Father's Correspondence, which is a letter read and reply epistolary game, which I think is all right. I'm desperately trying to edit The Zone for Christmas. It probably is going to come out in the new year, which is totally fine. But it's interesting enough, I've played that game, The Zone, 3 times this year. Each time slightly different, which is always good. And then hopefully Kariko will be up next in terms of different RPG systems and new interviews with game designers always on the list. But obviously you can find me everywhere else on the internet. RP
Geeks as well.
Last Time Rewind, and I'm also delighted to say it'll be out by the time this is out. But Last Time Rewind got a grant from the Tabletop Arts Fund to go and submit into all the web fests, which is very, very exciting.
Wow.
We were top 5 out of 80 applicants, which is bonkers. I know.
It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It looks amazing. All the art stuff. Everyone should go check it out. I know all the backstories. The insider scoop. Everyone who played in it was just telling me, dragging me, it's so much fun. She's so amazing.
Oh no! I didn't mean you to tell me that. Oh no!
Everyone was just like, I was hoping, everyone who spoke to me about it was like, she's done such a good job. Such a good job.
She's such a good job. Oh, such lovies. Just all lovies.
No. So I think honestly, everything sounds fun from all the. The thing is, I haven't listened to it because it's like I need the time. But all the outside information that I have sequestered from people about it, from seeing behind the scenes to talking to people that played in it, to talking to people that listened to it, everyone just says it's amazing, and so therefore I cannot recommend it enough. I'm going to go listen to it.
I think that what's going to happen now is that Hamilton, you'll listen to it and go, oh, this is just Fiona as I normally speak to her. So why is it so, I think it's overhyped. But hopefully what that means is that in the new year we can submit to all the web fests. I don't know if we'll get any award. I don't know anything about these web fests. I know people always talk about them, but I was like, you know what? If it means one more person listens to my show, then I'm all for it. And someone else has paid the submission fee. So so I'm delighted that's happened.
Awesome.
Yeah, but in the meantime, friends, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in New Year with lots of fun RPG stuff.
We can say a fun one.
We can say a fun one. What fun one?
We'll see you on the flip
side of the year. I was thinking about what fun one.
A fun one.
Very good. Well, let's do that again for actual. I panicked then. I was like, wait, okay. Thank you so much for listening. We'll
see you
on the flip side
of the year.
Cool.
The year.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
All good.
We're so cool.
Bye.
Bye.